Hey, the big man's back. It's probably been 3 months again. It usually is. I'll check, actually. You know what? What a way to start off a video. I'm checking when my last upload was. I'm going on my channel and I will see what it was. Uh, it was 5 months ago. Wow. Okay. That's more than I thought, actually. But look who's back again to upload one video and then disappear off the grid another time. Why am I moving my hands like that? But hey, I mean, this is different, isn't it? It's usually recorded straight off my PlayStation, but today I brought out the laptop webcam because I mean it'd be a weird. I'm talking about something. I'm talking about something. Isn't that crazy? Does my hair just look so good right now? No, it doesn't. Um. Oh, this does not look my does not make my look at the ball. Oh, sorry, distracted. I've only got 14 minutes. I should be quick. We are talking about the Boston Celtics today, which is quite a change of pace because I've never actually talked about basketball on this channel. So, I guess if for all the Archer Cross super fans out there, you wouldn't even know that I even like basketball. I love basketball. Basketball is my second favorite sport behind the great old footy. And I am a Boston Celtics fan. And this video is about basically just going over a bunch of things about the Celtics that we, know of, basically. Going into the playoffs, we have 9 games left. We play the Pacers tonight. For them at 8, for me at 11, which, that's great, isn't it? I mean, the lighting is so bad when I'm like sitting down, so I'm on my knees, but I've got Oscar slides, so my knees are feeling terrible. But hey, let's. I'll move. So yeah, Celtics. 9 games left. I basically just want to go over whether I think we can do it. I'm not saying that we will. I'm not saying that we won't. I want to go over everything and all the things that are surrounding the Celtics right now and all of the questions. And I'm not really here to answer them. I'm just more here to give my sort of opinions and, maybe you agree with me, maybe you don't. Because I'm a pretty big Celtics fan. I'm going to sit down, I'm sorry. Should I move it down a bit? Yeah, that's fine. I'm a big Celtics fan, but I'm also from England, which means the games are all 5 hours ahead, which means that a lot of games are on very late at night for me. So I'm not watching every game. I'll be rewatching, of course, but I will not be watching every game. But I do watch a lot, probably seen at least 30 games this season. And I've and that's live, so I'm not saying I've definitely seen the highlights of every game, don't get me wrong. And, I've seen most, okay? Like, overall, I've seen most of our play this season. So I'm not a casual. I don't know what I'm talking about, but, I've got a little thing here where I've wrote down all of the things that I want to talk about. I've got like 10 things. And I also wrote down everybody on our roster. I don't want to show you all the stuff that, I'm going to talk about because it'd be a bit of a spoiler. But if I just put there you are. You just see I wrote down everyone who's on our roster. See my bad handwriting. Just to make sure I didn't forget anyone. Because, I wouldn't like to forget anyone. And I mean everyone except for what's his name? We drafted him like 15th, and he's a center, and he plays for the Mains. But he's useless. If he played in the playoffs, it would be fucking ridiculous. We'd have to get like 6 players injured for him to touch the ground. But yeah. So what I'm talking about is the first thing I wrote down was Jaylen Brown's situations, which I guess is a cumulative thing. it's like an array of the things that are going on, which there's always stuff going on about Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown gets talked about a lot. And I just kind of want to say, so the first thing is obviously the rumours about him. Obviously, he's going into free agency this year, and there are rumours about him maybe wanting to be the face of his own organisation, meaning, leaving. The Hawks are apparently very interested, but you wouldn't really be the face because Trae Young's there. But then again, Trae Young, washed? No, washed is such a harsh term. He's not washed. But yeah. I mean, I personally think that we're just going to bring him back on a Supermax 5-year deal, probably. But he'll definitely have his doubts right now. Because another thing I want to talk about is the final shot of the game. When it comes down to it, our final shot this season, if we're losing by like 1 or 2 and it's come down to the final shot, it's being taken by Jason Tatum every time. And it shouldn't be. Because ultimately there are nights where Jaylen Brown is just so much better than Tatum. And it should not matter that Tatum is is the biggest star of the two, because Jaylen Brown has been more efficient for most of the season, and he should be taking the final shot. Because another thing I wrote down, Tatum off nights. Tatum does have off nights. He does shoot inefficiently. He is someone who looks to get to the line a lot, which isn't a negative. It's a part of basketball, but I think he is somebody who is, of course, incredible. But since the All-Star break hasn't looked as incredible he did as before. So I think that we need to just maybe give Jaylen Brown the ball a bit more. Because a lot of the time he is our more efficient of the two. And yeah, that's basically what I wanted to say about that. The next thing I wrote down is Marcus Smart or Malcolm Brogdon / Derek White. Because there's been a lot of discussion. Marcus Smart, after winning Defensive Player of the Year, has not had his best season. He rarely has great offensive nights, and there's even been times where he's having bad defensive nights, which is his entire thing. And if he's being bad on the defense, then he shouldn't really be starting. But it's all about come playoff time and whether he'll show up. And in playoffs, he has. But you're looking at the performances of a Malcolm Brogdon this season, who has been really nice. You're looking at Derek White, who's also been very nice. And you have to think that, is it worth a shot, maybe? And that maybe it would be, obviously, maybe just like a little, maybe nice for maybe Marcus Smart to miss 2 of the games left in our 9-game stretch, just to see. I don't think that he'll get benched, and I don't think he should get benched, but, I think that, he is ultimately a very good guard, and if he just, maybe when it comes to the playoffs, just give him a direct order to shoot less, because he's not a good shooter. Everyone knows that. I wrote down Joe's plays, which obviously Joe Mazzulla, our coach. I'm going to move on from that because I think, that's a gripe that can talk, you could talk about that forever. Joe draws up some strange plays sometimes. He has some weird ideas, but he also has some great ones. So it's not really a gripe, just, play it a bit safer come playoffs, I guess. That's about it. I also wrote down Gallinari's fitness, which we got an update on today, saying that he's making very good progress and that he is on the practice courts. Not that he's playing in practice, not that he's doing stuff like that, but he is with the team practicing, which is a nice thing to hear, obviously. But it comes with the idea of, is he going to be back? Because if he is, should we risk it? Because obviously, not everyone is Kevin Durant. Not everyone comes back from injury and starts hooping immediately. And I think that unless Gallinari is back in the next 5 games, I don't think he should play. I think he should just, even if he's fit, like if he's fit come like the second round of the playoffs and we bring him back and he's terrible, Like, you know, it's silly. It's just going to be silly, and we're going to look like idiots. So I just don't think we should. So I think he should just miss the season, and it should be fine. I wrote the next thing I wrote was who can we trust come playoffs, which is an interesting thing. It's something where I think I will look to the handy roster that I wrote down and kind of go through everyone and just kind of give them a quick yes or no, maybe a slight explanation for everybody. Marcus Smart, I'll go through position. That's what I'll do. I'll go for the point guard, shooting guard, Marcus Smart, I think obviously is going to play, and I think we can trust him. I think that he'll step it up. He'll be a lot better. So yeah, Malcolm Brogdon, obviously, if it's six man, if it's starting, we can definitely trust him. He's been really good. I don't think JD Davidson is touching the court come playoff time, even if Pritchard is still injured. Jaylen Brown, obviously, we can trust him. Derek White, obviously, we can trust him. Both been really good. Pritchard, I probably don't give minutes to. Pritchard gets garbage minutes, maybe, but that's about it. Tatum, yeah. I know that obviously he had his bad finals run, but it's in the past now. Absolutely, we can trust him. And then our other two small forwards, Sam Hauser. I wrote Gallinari in this, even though I would probably say more of a power forward. But, since we have Grant, Mike Muscala, Blake, we have a lot of power forwards. I just put him in small forward. And, I would trust Sam Hauser in those to play that bench role. But that's it. He's nothing more than that. And that's fine. He probably gets less minutes than what we're giving him now, Al Horford, absolutely. My player of the season, frankly, in terms of what he's been doing. Grant Williams, honestly, no. Just a straight no, because he just hasn't been good enough. And if he becomes good enough, then that's great. But if he doesn't, Blake Griffin, also going to say no. He's 34. He's barely good now when he's playing in the regular season games. He works really hard, which is really nice. Maybe another player you give a couple garbage minutes to. Time Lord Robert Williams, absolutely, of course. Luke Cornett, he's been great as of recent. When Rob got injured, he had two really good nights in a row, but I still wouldn't really give anything to him over Muscala to me when it comes to playoffs. That backup center role is kind of really weak when you look at it in comparison. You have Rob, and of course Al can play there, but then you have Luke Cornett, Mike Muscala, and Blake Griffin, who all really aren't playoff good enough. And then I'll quick through the rest of these because we've only got about 2 minutes. So our competition, Bucks, Sixers. We play them both within the 9 games that we've got. They play each other at one point. I think the Bucks are going to get first seed. I think we'll get second seed. And I think that the Sixers will be third seed. How it is right now, I think, is how it's going to end. Which is kind of a shame because I would have liked to, obviously the Sixers really seem to have the Bucks number, but we had the Sixers number. So it would be great to get the 1 seed for that only. Because if they battled it out, the Sixers won, got to the conference finals, and then, we'd have a much better chance. Rest of the regulation season games, just win. That's pretty much all I can say. We're placing the Bucks and the Sixers, and those are the only 2 games we should really have to try more than. We're playing 500 teams and teams like the Spurs, who obviously aren't very good. And the last thing I wrote was who I think we'd come up against if in the finals, if we got there. So basically, who do I think is going to win the Western Conference? And I can't answer that. I wrote that down for myself, and I don't really think I had an answer then. Maybe that's something for a different video. Off the bat right now, I'd just say I think the Suns, because Kevin Durant is too good. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I believe in my C's, and I think they can do it. And, if they do, I'll be one happy boy, won't I? So obviously I'm calling it here. If you watched this for 15 minutes, then thank you. I doubt it, but thank you. And JD Davidson is going to be the greatest point guard since Jimmy Butler. I'm telling you, next Jimmy Butler.